Not sure what to do with those potatoes? Let's load them up 3 ways. Potatoes. It's probably one of Derica's favorite foods.
Absolutely.
And we don't eat enough of them, mostly because they're high in carbs, and me being diabetic, it's a little difficult for me to load up on potatoes because here's the problem. I can't just have a little. I have to have like a whole lot of potatoes. But today we're going to work on 3 different ways to load up baked potatoes, all plant-based, of course. But to start with, you have to have some baked potatoes. Now, I should be doing baked in air quotes because there's a lot of ways to cook a potato. These happen to be baking potatoes. They're just Idaho russet potatoes.
You can use basically any potato you want. We've done red potatoes if you find big enough ones.
Yeah.
And it's no big for us.
These have been washed, skin on, and now
scrubbed with a veggie brush.
I'm going to fork them. Just like a couple whacks per side. Couple two tree. And I'm going to do that to all 3 of these because they squirt you sometimes. The reason I'm poking them, pricking them, forking them, whatever you want to call it, is because of the way we're going to cook them. And how are we going to cook them, Derica?
We're going to, hopefully you're sitting down, microwave them.
I actually hate the microwave.
We do. We both hate the microwave, but there's a few things that it's actually really good for. 1 is making popcorn, and 2 is baking potatoes really quick.
It's actually a great way to steam things, is really what it is. So instead of a baked potato, they're technically steamed potatoes. But if you prefer to bake them in the oven, feel free. We never do that. Some people put them in the Instant Pot. I've never done that. Some people do the air fryer. I've never done that either.
I think part of the reason why we don't bake them in the oven is because there's just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
And
it takes so long.
Like a lot of waste of energy.
What I do is I prick them just like you saw, throw them in the microwave. This many, I'll do 6 minutes. That's it. Back in 6 minutes. Okay, so I did 6 minutes and then we're done. So I did another 5 minutes. Then I got out a thermometer and I stuck it in there. And it should read 204 or higher. This one's reading 209. So these are done. So now what I'm going to do, take this whole tray, stick it in the oven, 200 degrees Fahrenheit, just to keep them warm while we do the rest.
So in coming up with these 3 different unique recipes, I started thinking about, what do I think about when I think about a baked potato? And the first thing I thought of was cheese.
Now, we made a cheese sauce.
We did.
But we're going to go through it very briefly to talk about it because it's right over there in the blender. But the way we make it is I take some potatoes and some carrots and I boil them together with a little bit of onion. Then I strain that off, put that into the blender, the cup of my NutriBullet, but you can use a Vitamix. We just made a small amount, so that's why the NutriBullet worked really, really well.
Yeah, we did a half recipe of our full recipe.
Then I added nutritional yeast, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and some water. Blend that till it's smooth, and you'll see there's little red specks in there. That's because we used red potatoes this time, and I didn't peel them, because people have told me that they do it without peeling them. So I said, well, if you can do it, so can I.
Also, this is going on a baked potato with its skin on it.
And the skin is so good for you, you know? But anyway, there's our cheese sauce.
So then, after that, I thought, okay, what else tastes really good with cheese? And that's broccoli.
Right, so for that, I'm just going to cut the bottom off of this because that's a chef snack. I'll have that later. The stalks of broccoli are just as good as the broccoli itself. And that way I can just peel off some florets. We don't need a lot for this particular, we're making 1 potato, you know?
We have our steamer basket already. We have the water prepped on our stove. And we're just going to pick off enough broccoli. That's probably plenty for 1.
Oh yeah, for 1. Yeah. That's right, we're only making 1. So put the broccoli into the steamer basket.
We did say these are going to be loaded, right?
Yeah, well loaded. Over to a pan of hot water.
And then it just needed a little something extra. And we decided, bacon!
We have here some tempeh bacon by Light Life. Now, we actually did a plant-based tempeh bacon on the show, but today we're feeling a little bit lazy, so we're gonna use the store-bought stuff. I've never had this before. I'm curious. Don't need much. Tempeh is so weird looking. It freaks you out. Makes you think it's like gone bad and stuff. It didn't. All right, what do you think? One slab, 2 slabs?
Well,
just like that, maybe. No, no, we need a little bit more. Just that much.
All right, so we're doing 2 slabs.
Tastes like bacon. And I'm just gonna kind of chop it up a little so it's almost like crumbles.
Yeah, That's what we're looking for. If you don't want to use this kind of plant-based bacon, most bacon bits really
They're
are
actually soy.
plant-based.
Yeah, so you can use those too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw this into a frying pan, heat it up. That's really all I got to do.
Now it's time to prepare to load our baked potatoes. So we're going to start with our potato.
First, I like to cut it in half, just like that, open it up. And sometimes I'll just like give it a little score to make it easier to get out. By the way, we eat the skins and everything because, you know, it's good for you. We just kind of do that. A little crisscross, cross-hatch pattern, if you will. Now I got to get it on the plate. This is hot. So, you know what? I got tongs for a reason, right?
Now, building these loaded baked potatoes so that you really get a little bit of everything in each bite is a little bit of an art form. You may think, well, it's time to put some broccoli on there, and you would be wrong. You actually want to put a little bit of your cheese sauce right on the potato. Not too much, just a little bit, so that way you get some cheesy goodness with your potato.
I didn't think of that.
And you have to make the noise, otherwise it doesn't open.
It's a rule.
All right. Now, this is thick with multiple C's, so you
There's
want
about 12 C's in there.
kind of be careful because we don't want it to be too cheesy.
Oof. Can it be too cheesy?
Well,
I mean,
I guess it could be.
do you need these or you want me to do it?
Go ahead and put some broccoli on there now. Our broccoli, we steamed it to perfection, so it is a vibrant green, which looks fantastic against that cheese sauce.
I cooked it 5 minutes once it came to a boil. Because I almost always exclusively overcook broccoli for some strange reason.
And we're trying to place it artfully because you do eat with your eyes. It is true.
You know, we're going to have to take pictures and stuff and make it look nice.
All right, and now it's time for a little bit more cheese
More
sauce.
cheese sauce.
More cheese
We
sauce.
sound like one of those cheesy morning shows. More cheese sauce? Wow.
All right, but you can be as cheesy as you want to be.
We are. And then we have our tempeh bacon, which I broke up a little bit more in the pan.
Yeah.
This is where it's going to get messy, maybe. I'm just going to try to pile it all on top.
We,
I don't know,
We
I think-
probably made maybe a little too much tempeh,
Nah, this is good stuff.
but it smells fantastic.
It should like flow over the sides just slightly. That's my story and I'm
As long as
sticking
it
to it.
stays on the plate, we got one plate piece that ran away.
Better catch it.
Get back in there.
I'm going to try to piece it all on top.
And you know what? More cheese sauce.
Really?
Just
More
a- just-
cheese? More cheese?
just a
I don't
little
know. This is seriously starting to sound like what's that? The where you buy stuff network online?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing of beauty right there.
It really is. That looks very, very nice.
All right. We're actually going to take a picture of this now because it's so beautiful. I don't know what it's going to be like after it sits in the
We
oven.
are going to put it in the oven for about 200 degrees until we finish all the rest. For our next trick, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. I'm just kidding.
No. We're going Tex-Mex, and for that we're going to be using black beans.
Now, I have a weird way of opening cans. I learned this a while back, and it served me well. Most people will take the can opener and set it on the side like this. I don't do that because it makes ragged, nasty edges. Put it this way. Give it a squeeze. It breaks the seal. It's more like the way a can opener does, like an electric can opener. They do the same thing. Go all the way around. And eventually, you just get the lid comes off and not so sharp. I mean, you'll still cut yourself if you're not careful, but once I get the can of beans open, I take the entire can, juices and all, pour it into a pan. And now I'm gonna go to the stove and cook my beans. The way I cook my beans is a lot of people will strain off all the liquids. I don't. Liquid and all. When you put it in the pan and you start cooking that down at a nice like medium low heat, it actually congeals into this lovely gravy-like thing. Notice there's no seasonings, there's no pepper, there's no spices, there's no nothing on those beans. That's on purpose. We're trying to keep this simple and minimal, but still impact a lot of flavor and texture.
Now, can you add spices to that sauce?
course.
Absolutely. You can make it as spicy as you like.
But part of the reason why we didn't bother is because we're going to be putting pico de gallo on top of it. And we made our own. And it was really, really simple. For our pico, we have some fresh cilantro that I just chop up after removing the stems and washing it, of course. Some onion, chopped. Some garlic. Jalapeno, if you like it spicy. If you don't, you can leave the jalapeno out. It's still a totally fine pico. Some tomato, diced up. Some lime juice. And black pepper to taste. Fresh, correct, please. And then you just mix it up.
Now, this is actually much better if you do it the day before,
Oh,
but
yeah.
because it's a fresh pico, you can do it just seconds before if you need to, and it will still be great.
This is from like an hour ago. So, it's going to be great.
Last, but certainly not least, to give it some extra creamy yumminess, we're going to add avocado.
Now, I have actually been avoiding avocado and nuts, but Derica can totally have them. Because if you're diabetic like myself, I'm going for a super low fat, higher carb diet to deal with the diabetes. But a little avocado isn't going to kill me. So here we go. I'm going to take that pit out. Now, someone said, don't do this because they were afraid you were going to put the knife right through that pit and into your hand. I don't think anyone has the strength to actually do that.
You have to be
It's ridiculous.
Incredibly strong and have a ridiculously sharp knife.
Yeah, I just nick the pit, give it a little, whoops, maybe a little more nick. Give it a little twist, and it should come out of there, just like that.
Now, because
This is where a lot of people go wrong on this method, okay? See, it's stuck to the knife. All you do is you come from the dull side. See, I can put my hand right here, come from the dull side, and just give it a little squeeze. Comes right off. Totally safe.
Yeah. If you're accident prone like I am, go ahead and put your avocado on the table, then whack it with the knife to get that pit out.
And the way I usually do it is with a table knife, but I'm going to use this knife today just because it's what's here. I just make like little slices into it, about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. I don't want to go through the skin because I, will cut my hand that way. You can do this on the table if you're more accident prone, just like that. And then I'll scoop it out. But today, I guess I'm going to be using the knife, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. Okay.
All right, contender number 2 is ready. We start with the potato.
I'm going to cut it in half just like before. Give it a couple scores. These are nice and fluffy inside.
They're beautiful. On the plate.
I lost my tongs.
That's
I
right.
had tongs. What's next?
Next is going to be the black beans, because remember, we use the sauce that is in the can to make this beautiful gravy, and that is
Yes.
going to soak into our potato, making it extra yummy.
You can put as much or as little as you want. We're not going to use everything that we have here. This was a whole can, and the rest will go in the fridge. We'll use it for something else. Just a few scoops.
Now, because we're storing these in our oven to keep them warm, we're going to stop right here.
Right.
But we will be adding the pico and the fresh avocado later. All right, so for this, I was inspired by my favorite sauce, probably of all time, and that's tzatziki sauce. And so I'm like, okay, let's go full on Greek for this loaded baked potato.
All right. So we have chickpeas. I'm opening a whole can yet again. Now this time I actually don't want to use the aquafaba because I want them to be a little more dry and even have almost a tiniest bit of a crust on them. So I'm just going to drain off the aquafaba. You can reserve that and use it as you will.
Aquafaba is a very useful ingredient, but it's best fresh. You don't really want to store it for
Yeah,
too long.
it's kinda gross.
It's kind of gross in the refrigerator. Now, don't rinse these chickpeas because the starch from the aquafaba is going to help create that crust that Brian talked about. Also, because we're keeping it simple today, we're not going to season our chickpeas, but you totally can. Seasoned chickpeas are delightful and they're perfect as a snack as long as you don't put them on the table.
Chef snack.
All right, so these are going to go to the stove. Now that our chickpeas are nice and warm, we're going to make some cheddar tzatziki. And by that, I mean we're not doing my full recipe where we use the Mori New when we make it taste like yogurt.
We're going to use actual Kite Hill almond yogurt. We actually really like this stuff. It's not too bad on fat. It's 12 grams of fat for 3/4 of a cup. So, if in reasonable amounts, I can have some of this.
So the yogurt is going to be our base, but we know that we want lots of cucumber in there because it's not tzatziki without cucumber.
Right.
So we are going to cut off just a chunk.
Of an English cucumber.
Yes.
Because they don't have seeds as bad as the regular traditional cucumbers.
And the skin is very thin, so you don't have to peel these.
Yeah, we just eat the whole thing.
And we're just going to grate some.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean Brian.
By the way, I hate grating.
He does.
I really do. It's my least favorite thing to do. But in this case, it is necessary. If you really don't want to grate your cucumber, try dicing it super, 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 super fine. But I find that grating just works better. So I don't have my chain metal glove out today, but instead I'm just going to cut that little end off and chef snack. That way, I started with 10 fingers. I still have 10 fingers.
All right, so we did say this was a cheater tzatziki, and so we're going to get the extra moisture out of this by the Hulk smash method.
I'm curious how you're going to do that.
For that, we need some paper towel.
Oh!
And so we're just going to get this extra cucumber off of our grater.
You know a little trick for that?
Yeah, do it.
You go with the grain instead of against it.
Fantastic.
Comes right off.
And make sure you get the inside as well.
Oh, yeah, there's tons on the inside.
Yeah.
Most grater accidents are caused by people going the wrong way on a grater or not paying attention.
Yeah.
I have ground my fingertips down on multiple occasions.
And now we're just going to gather the cucumber into a nice little pile.
Oh,
And smoosh it with the paper towel.
And that way the paper towel absorbs
And the paper towel is absorbing all that extra liquid.
That's certainly one way to do it.
And if you get your paper towel too wet, you can get another one if you wish.
We're just going to do it.
But we're just going to deal with it. Or deal with it, because that's the next ingredient that we need to add to this.
You didn't really just do that,
Totally
did you?
did. Now, I love dill. Brian is learning to appreciate dill.
I like ranch, therefore I like dill.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
So I'm going to sprinkle some dill right in there. And I'm putting that in now so that that extra moisture from the cucumber is going to activate the dill. Activate.
I'll wash my hands. I'll be right back.
Speaking of activation, look at this. I'm just going one thing to the next. We're going to do a little bit of salt right on that cucumber.
One thing to the next. Isn't that how we do it? How much salt would you say that was?
Not even.
It's like 15 flakes.
Yeah.
It's salt-like.
Now, we are going to taste this after we mix it, so that way we know if we need to add more. Tzatziki does add, it does improve with flavor with a little bit of salt. Typically, we're very low salt here, but it's necessary in this case.
Next?
It's the yogurt.
Oh.
Unless you want to put the garlic in next.
Can I put the garlic in next?
You can, so you can use the same spoon and not cross-contaminate.
I'm going to wipe it off.
Okay.
How much garlic?
That's
that much?
probably too much. This is a smaller amount. That's fine.
We're a garlicky people.
We are an obnoxiously garlicky people, and that was probably an obnoxiously large amount for this small little vessel that we're using.
I'm obnoxious. What can I say?
But we're okay, because we're both going to be eating the same amount of garlic. You know that trick, right?
Yep.
As long as your loved one eats the same amount of garlic as you, you're both equally stinky, and so you won't offend each other.
I just need enough to work for this, right?
Yeah.
All right, so probably just a half a cup, probably. Yeah, we'll go with that for now. I can always add more.
And at this point, we're going to go ahead and mix that up. We are not done adding ingredients, but we want to see what our texture's like.
Cucumbery. It's cucumberant. Cucumberful.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put some fresh ground black pepper in right now. Have we mentioned I really like black pepper? Because I do.
Next.
Next, you're going to stick a pinky in there and tell me if you think it needs the lemon juice or not. If you're doing the new mixture, then the lemon juice is really going to be important to mimic the yogurt-like flavor. But since we're actually using yogurt, we can go a little lighter on the lemon juice. But the lemon flavor is helpful in a tzatziki recipe.
By the way, if you want to use fresh lemon, go for it. This is what we had. We didn't have a fresh lemon. I am adding it because I think a little bit of acidity on this is going to be nice in this particular recipe because the chickpeas are not a vibrant flavor.
Yeah.
So this will add just that little kick of acid to kick it up a notch.
Yeah, you know that about acid, and that's why vinegars and citrus juices and stuff are added into lots of recipes because they bring a burst of freshness to any ingredient, and it's really going to pump up the flavor.
And lemon juice in particular actually accentuates salty flavors. So it actually will make something that's not as salty taste a little bit more salty. So that's how you can get away with using less salt.
All right, pinky taste.
Oh.
See how we're at. That tastes fantastic to me.
All right. What's next?
Next, we gotta chop some stuff. First up, we're gonna chop some fresh cucumber. That's right, I know there's cucumber in the tzatziki, but I like more cucumber. So we're gonna do that.
How much you think?
Just enough to put on a baked potato, so sure.
Got to get through the plastic first. It's wrapped in plastic for your protection. And how do you want these chopped?
Small dice.
Oh, small dice. Okay. So why so much cucumber? Just out of curiosity, or is it just the
I
way
love
you
cucumber.
thought it up? Oh, okay.
Also, lots of times when I make a sandwich, a pita, a gyro, anything that I put tzatziki on, I'm always going to add more cucumber. Not necessarily in a small dice format, but I chose that for the baked potatoes, so that way when you eat it with the fork or spoon, you'll get a little bit of cucumber in each bite.
Yeah, you got me into putting cucumber on sandwiches. I never did that before. I always thought it was a little weird, but you got me doing
It's
it.
nice. It brings a nice, fresh juiciness to a sandwich in particular without degrading the structure of the sandwich.
That's true. It does add a crunch too. It's like a fresh crunch, and there's like no calories in these things. So we've started slicing them up and putting them on the side of bowls and stuff whenever we eat, and it's just a nice, like, refreshing, almost a palate cleanser in between.
Yeah, it's great.
What's left?
We need a tomato. All right, since we went kind of heavy, honestly, on the cucumber, sorry, we don't need a full tomato for a potato. Half, maybe even a fourth.
Go with half. I like tomato.
All right. We did say loaded, didn't we?
Yeah, what's the point? You know, if you're going to load it, load it. If you're going to do something, do it right. Go big or go home.
I hate that phrase.
Me too. It's just kind of annoying. I'm just dicing this because she didn't tell me to do anything else. So
But yeah,
I'm assuming she wanted it diced.
yes.
It's funny, growing up, I didn't like tomatoes at all. When I had salad, my salad was literally like just lettuce, carrot, and usually no dressing. That was pretty much salad for me growing up. They're a little bit different now. There might have been bell pepper in it, now that I think about it. I didn't like ketchup. I didn't like mayonnaise. And now ketchup is like the best sauce ever. I know a lot of people get angry with me for
Ketchup
that.
used to be the best sauce ever. There's a new champion in the house.
Gochujang. Oh my God. Best thing ever.
It's like spicy ketchup.
It kind of is. It kind of is. Plus a little. Spicy ketchup plus.
All right, it's time to load a potato. All right, we got our potato. It's time to cut it and prepare it.
Just like before. Skin split on that one.
Yeah.
It's all good. I usually just cut it up with a fork and knife anyway, so. All right, let's move this so they can see.
All right, so we're going to start with a little bit of the tzatziki. We're kind of building this like we did potato number uno. Again, this is just to get some of that tzatziki flavor on our potato. Let's put some tomato on next.
How much?
I'm going to just try to open these up a little bit because this is going to get...
Goopy.
It's going to get crazy!
So...
Just a little bit because the tomatoes are nice and juicy, so get their juices down in there. Now maybe some chickpeas.
Oh, you want me to do that?
We don't have a thingy.
Let me go get a thingy. I have a thingy.
And these guys are going to run all over the place. This is going to be mass chaos.
They're not going to run, though. They don't have legs.
They're going to roll.
Yeah.
I'm probably not the right person to be doing this.
I think you're doing a fine job.
Ah!
Chickpeas are probably my favorite bean. All right, that's loaded.
Put some more of this on there.
Oh, boy. Here I thought I made way too much tzatziki for this. I don't think I did.
And now we're going to put some cucumber and tomato on top. So we have some nice color contrast.
Oh, that's a big honking tomato. Didn't get cut properly.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to need all of the tomato and all of the cucumber.
Well, maybe all the tomato, but not all the cucumber. Make it work. It's supposed to be loaded.
It's loaded.
There's only a little bit left. I got to get it in there.
Okay.
Falling over the sides is a good thing.
Our cup floweth over.
Our potato floweth over.
All right, and I'm going to put a final dollop.
That is a work of art right there. That is beautiful.
All right, speaking of works of art, let's get the rest of our potatoes out, shall we? Now we need to finish building the contender number 2.
Right.
And we're going to put some of our pico, our fresh pico de gallo, right on top of those beans.
This works great on tacos and fajitas as well.
It works well on a Volkswagen bumper.
It's one way to say that joke.
I And then
Oh, she makes me do it.
avocado. I can do it if you don't want to do it.
I'm just going to do like maybe half.
Yeah.
Half of a half. So that would be a quarter for those of you keeping track at home.
And we're going to try to artfully do this. So I'm going to just get in there with my hand
That's why I was like, why are you having me do it?
and kind of fan it out if you can.
Oh,
Just hit
she's trying to be all fancy.
top. And then you
That
have
looks nice.
avocado on your fingers. Oh, no.
So we need to, well, she's going to wash her hands. We're going to take some pictures of this. We'll be right back. We have 3 loaded baked potatoes in front of us.
These are things of beauty.
They really are. This came out nice. You did a wonderful job coming up with these. I know I helped a little bit with the recipes, but for the most part, this was all you.
All right, let's start on your side and move our way down. So we got fighting implements here because these are loaded baked potatoes. We got to get in there and get a little bit in each bite.
Or a lot, as the case may be. I'm just trying to get a little bit of everything here.
It's a big bite, babe.
It is. It's going in.
Is it too hot? Is it lava? No, you're good? Okay. It's gorgeous.
I gotta tell you, the combination of the cheese sauce and broccoli is wonderful, right? And then the creaminess of the potato. But then that tempeh bacon, the saltiness and richness, unbelievable. That's fantastic. That is so good. And this is like probably my least favorite of the 3 on paper. Although it's starting to become like quickly my favorite.
Oh, this is lovely.
And it's loaded with protein. There's actually quite a bit of protein here. Good amount of fiber. Yeah. Okay. On to the fiesta.
If you noticed, we managed to get a good variety of nutrients and all the elements that you need in your meal in each of these potato recipes.
Yeah, you managed to do that.
It's almost like I thought about
Planned
that.
it. Okay, I don't have much pico. I gotta get some pico.
We got extra pico if you need some.
I don't need extra. I just needed what was there. I got a little tiny piece of avocado.
First.
Just cause. Whoa.
Takes a steady hand.
Now on this one, the potato just acts kind of like a base, which it kind of does for all of them. But it really works nicely. Kind of like you'd think of a tortilla in a Mexican type of dish. With the beans in there, it adds, the beans are firmer than the potato, so they're a different texture. And then you have the crunch and the sweetness and the freshness of that pico. It's a little kick from the jalapeno. Oh, it's just fantastic. The cilantro, oh, it's just amazing. If you can't do cilantro or it tastes like soap to you, I'm really sorry. Use parsley. Okay, I'll say that.
And if parsley is too boring, do a combination of parsley and oregano, but fresh.
I never thought
Always
of that.
fresh.
And then the avocado on top really just finishes this.
It gives you that creamy yumminess that a cheese sauce would, but it has a good amount of fiber in it as well.
Now this one, I have high hopes for this
High hopes.
because I'm a fan of chickpeas. I'm a fan of tzatziki. So I have a feeling this one may be. Oop, I'm getting a little overzealous in my bite size here.
Make sure you get chickpeas because I know you.
Yeah, I know. I got to get the chickpeas.
There's one on. Oh, it fell off.
Get yours too. Just do it.
You're having a hard enough time.
I really am.
Do you need assistance?
I think I'm just gonna use my hands in a minute. All right, I got a piece of tomato and a chickpea.
Okay. I'm gonna try to put some of this back on the plate.
Now this one is really interesting because the dill in that tzatziki really plays well with potatoes in particular. Just really, really nice. It has this lovely sweetness and depth that works so well. Then you get a little bit of the crunch from the cucumber. I can't even describe what chickpeas. It's just that there's a great mouthfeel to them. And then we have the tomatoes on top. Just fantastic. All 3 of these are wonderful. I don't know which one I would pick, to be honest. It's almost like we have appetizer, main course, dessert. It kind of feels like that. They really do work that way. I'm liking it. So we're probably going to eat all these right now because I don't think any of this is going to store particularly well now that they've been put together.
Right.
Now, the individual components, you most certainly can, and then you can put together these things anytime you want. And that's kind of the idea. We still have extra chickpeas, extra beans. We have extra pico. We have extra... Do we have extra tzatziki, or did you use it all?
No, we do.
So we can put those things in the fridge, and then tomorrow heat up a potato, and you can do the same thing. And one potato in the microwave usually takes 5 to 8 minutes. Not a big deal. So there's a meal in minutes if you have a little bit of prep work done ahead of time.
Do you have your favorite style of loaded baked potato that we perhaps did not cover in this video? Let us know in the comments below.
And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on The Bistro.